Found it an extremely interesting conversation, and to be continued. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Thank you.
Al Gore leaving Trump Tower yesterday after meeting with President-elect Donald Trump. Trey Harden, ABC News political analyst. Good morning, Trey Harden.
Good morning, McGraw. How are you?
Good. What do you make of that meeting?
Well, first and foremost, I make that any former politician always loves to be brought back into the world and into the media because they have egos and want to be relevant again. And so, of course, they're going to accept an invitation like that. I certainly don't think it means that Al Gore is going to be sitting on Donald Trump's cabinet. But I do think it shows, again, that Donald Trump is not some hardline guy that basically is going to operate out of a bubble just because of who was with him or who wasn't with him with the campaign, or because of Republican or Democrat, and that he approaches the world each day like a businessman does. He wakes up differently and says, okay, well, what's going on in the world today business-wise? What are the opportunities? What are the best people to talk to about those opportunities? And he's not gonna approach things in a necessarily a conventional or institutional way. So doesn't surprise me one bit. Obviously, his daughter is committed to the issue and something she wants to maybe play a role in when he gets into the White House. And so I think, meeting with as many of those people who care about the issue as well probably makes a lot of sense.
Ben Carson is picked, and the criticism about Ben Carson and overall the people he is picking for his cabinet, the argument is not a whole lot of experience when it comes to government, and Ben Carson not having a whole lot of experience in his cabinet position. What are your thoughts as you watch some of these names come up?
Well, I think in terms of the government experience, I think that is probably a plus, and certainly to the millions of voters, of Donald Trump voters out there who don't want people with government experience anymore. They want people with real life, either business experience or community experience. So from that standpoint, I think experience is all relative, or the eye of the beholder these days. I give him high marks for his cabinet selections to this point. For this reason, I think it shows decisiveness. It shows a commitment to a very aggressive, in a positive way, approach to solving problems. Now, it may be an approach that many people in this country do not support, didn't vote for, but it's an approach that the majority of this country through the Electoral College did vote for. And it also shows that he's willing to put talented people around him, that maybe his narcissism has limits, and that he wants to get on with not necessarily putting political players in place or people that might be well received by the media or well received by both sides of the aisle. He wants to put people in that are going to, on day one, be committed to a lot of things he talked about on the campaign trail, because I just think it shows a commitment to that rhetoric.
It'll be interesting. It's a pretty good experiment to see if you need experience to run a cabinet position, right?
Well, on the Ben Carson front, obviously people had always thought of him as being the Secretary of Health and Human Services because he's a brain surgeon. Well, sure, okay, that goes to what I was just talking about. That okay, well, just because Ben Carson's been in medicine, they want him to, they think he should be handling the agency that oversees medical care and insurance and all of that. But this is also a man that has very strong opinions about the inner city and communities and how to kind of build America so that we bring a lot of the classes together as opposed to pulling them apart, certainly as it relates to where people are living and the people that are leading them in those communities. He's obviously, being an African American, I think that it also gives him a certain level of credibility in working with a lot of these communities. So I think Donald Trump's election approached it solely as like a business decision.
Trey Harden, we'll leave it there. Have a good week. Talk to you next Tuesday. Have a good day.
You too. Take care.
Trey Harden, ABC News political analyst from Washington, D.C., checks in with us each and every Tuesday. 625 here, Big 550.